Yep, we made some clear end caps out of resin and we grew some food with it. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about I grew something in black water. That kind of blew my mind, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And when I was experimenting with these resin end caps, I made a lot of what Bob Ross calls happy mistakes. Is they're different sizes, little imperfections, but they still work. So instead of tossing stuff in the landfill, you know what we were talking about, we want to try and reduce our waste. I've got quite a few here, and what I want to do is give them to some of y'all that want to experiment and kind of do experiments like me and share the information with us. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll tell you how to get in contact with me. And as far as these resin end caps go, I'm doing this because one thing, like I said, we're talking about plastics, right? Now, I'm not going to say plastics are evil and to get rid of all your plastic and we're going to grow like the caveman. I'm doing something here. I'm kind of on a journey, and I would like for y'all to kind of follow, to help me out, to give me your input, but it's not something that I want everyone to change and just do, because I'm going to be doing a lot of experimenting and I'm probably going to be making a lot of failures along the way. So just kind of watch me, let me make the failures, and then what works, then we'll all jump in on that, okay? So if you're comfortable growing in plastics with hydroponics and that, then keep doing what you're doing. If you're growing your own food, that's fantastic, because that's our main goal, right? We can't feed the world, so we want to teach the world how to feed itself, and we can't just say this is the only way. So to do that, we're going to have to, include everyone. And if some people do have a genuine concern about plastics, I would like to show an alternative. So me, I'm like the impetuous child. If they say you can't do something, I have to give it a try. And if I fail, then I'll figure out why I did. And from, those failures, we analyze and we try to figure it out. And, who knows what we'll find out. How many people have a microwave out there, right? How many people use a microwave? And you know that when they were first doing that, they weren't looking for a cooking appliance. They weren't trying to invent a new way to cook. They were making something else, and I forgot who the inventor was. You can just Google it and that. But his assistant or someone was eating a Hershey chocolate bar or something, and when they turned the machine on, the chocolate bar melted. And the microwave oven was born. So it was out of a mistake. They weren't looking for it. So, that's why I love experimenting and doing things that we might find something out and might figure something out. So the one thing with that, the black water in that is something that's kind of just like blowing my mind and might take us in like a complete different direction. These resin end caps, I'm doing this, like I said, to cut down on my waste, because if you're out there and you make a downspout, you cut it, drill some holes, clean up your mess and toss that out. I've been making thousands of these. So I've got a lot of waste, and not just little buckets, like 5-gallon buckets of shavings and little pieces of the little holes that we cut out, and just all kinds of scraps. And it can't go in the recycling, so I toss it into, the landfill. And as I'm trying to get more in touch with nature and sustainability, throwing all this stuff to the landfill kind of just like crushes my soul a little bit, if you want to put it that way. It's just tough because like I was saying about wood, I grew up like a carpenter and woodworking, and I love like just the way wood feels and the way it looks, the grain, the smell, the different woods you can work with. And since I've been working a lot with plastic, it's like all the same. It's like fake wood grain, and it smells like burning plastic. So it's been a little tough for a couple of years, just going through so much plastic and throwing so much waste into the landfill. And I want to try and cut that down. So when I started working with this resin, if I need one end cap that I know is 2 ounces, I pour 2 ounces and I put it in here, and I don't have any waste. It comes out, it's a little easier. These black ones are awesome. Looks like a bunch of cell phones, right? So I'm not selling a bunch of cell phones. These are end caps. Now you can see them a little better with these. Let me come up a little closer. But they come out exactly the right size and shape, right? And there's no cutting or anything. So they come out just the way I want it without having a bunch of waste. So I love that. So I'm going to be slowly transitioning to this. These I'm not going to make anymore. Like I said, these are still on Etsy if you want them. get them now, because as soon as I'm done with the supply that I have, I'm probably not going to make these anymore. Just like the downspouts, you know, I said I was going to just sell what I had left, and that was gone that weekend. So if you want any of these, you know, make sure you get on that. These are the ones that look like the little garden box. Like I said, I love these, but like I said, I'm trying to cut down on the plastic waste. So these are awesome. This is the way it comes. That's the way it looks. It's a little rough, and like I said, with these, it comes out exactly perfect, you know, to fit inside of the downspout. You don't need much silicone to seal that up, right? So that's one reason why I'm doing it, and I just love the downspouts. If you guys order any of these, I'm gonna have them up on Etsy. The black's gonna be the primary one. Then we've got white and clear, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if you order these, go check your local Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you get your downspouts from. Make sure they have the 3x4, because a lot of people, you know, get excited and order it first and then find out that they can't get it in their area. I was surprised. I thought if Home Depot carried it here, that you could get it in any Home Depot or any Lowe's, and for some reason some areas just won't even order. You can't order it even though they carry it in some of their other stores. So before you order anything, make sure you go and check with your local store and make sure that you can get the 3x4. If they only have the 2x3, I will be making those later, but this I'm making molds for them to make them rapidly, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and make several molds, because each one of these takes about 12 to 24 hours to cure. So if I only have like 4 molds, I can make like one set in one day. So that's not going to get us very far, right? So I'm going to have a bunch of molds. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on the 3x4, because these are the best ones. They're thicker. They don't let light in where you can get a lot of algae. They're more durable, and they're more sturdy where they won't flip over. So I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on that. Once I get enough molds built, then I'll go ahead and make them for the 2x3s. So just be patient. It's just going to take some time, but we'll get it for everyone. Also, I want to show you guys how you can make these too yourself. You know, I'll have them on Etsy, but basically if you get resin, you can just pour them. I was taking cross sections of the downspout and putting tape down. If you have like duct tape, it kind of leaves a little texture on there like the duct tape, right? Or you can put Scotch tape down and you get a lot cleaner look. And I started doing it that way. You can obviously, just do it that way yourself. You can take these and just silicone them down to the tape, or I put like a little putty around it, and that held it. But if you really want to make some and you want to do it right and you don't want to mess with all of that, these are really tough to get out of here. They really get stuck in there. And if you like, I'm going to put these molds inside of our shop too. And these are the ones that I'm using. And you can see after you pour them and you let them cure, they just pop right out. And they don't stick to the mold. You let it sit, like I said, 12 to 24 hours. You just peel it away like that. See that? How easy it comes out. So if you want to make your own, I'm going to put those molds up there. If you get one, it takes 12, 24 hours for it to cure. It'll take you a couple of days to make you a set, right? If you get 4, if you're really creative, like some people out there are like artistic, you can do all kind of fantastic stuff with the resin. Me, I'm just going to sell the black ones mainly, and then I'll have the white and the clear. But you could get resin and you could get it, and I've seen people use resin and make it look like a beach or a galaxy or some kind of cool design. You can embed stuff, like I put the steampunk, the little gears and the keys and that in it. You can put little trinkets, anything you want in there. You can just let your imagination go wild. And if you make yours and you make several of them, who knows, if you're good at it and you make different ones for mine, you might want to sell them too and put them up on Etsy. And then let me know if I like them. I'll just tell people about those too. And all of us can be out there helping a lot more people learn how to grow, right? See, that's what I get some people like, we'll see someone else like doing something like me and contact me and say, Mr. Van Doozy, so-and-so, or is this you? And look, the way I feel about it is I can't judge anybody. You know, maybe somebody's just trying to make money. You know, there's abundance for everyone, but maybe they have a sick wife, or they need medication, or they're trying to put the kids through college, or they can't pay their electric bill or something. They're trying to make a little extra money. I have no idea. There's millions of different possibilities that could be happening to people, and if I take myself out of the equation, what's the worst that happens? Is somebody's used my idea, but they've taught somebody else how to grow something. And if they sell it to several thousand people, they've taught thousands of people that I might not even know how to grow some of their own food. So the end goal of everything is to we can't feed the world, so we're going to teach the world how to feed itself. And indirectly, like I said, if I don't think about just myself, that's just helping other people. So if you see other people making stuff like I do and selling it, or taking my videos and doing that, you know, c'est la vie. You know, there's abundance in the world. There's 8 billion people. There's no way that I can make 8 billion of these, right? So if you see other people doing it, you know, support them too. There's no reason for all of us to be selfish in that, and I don't trademark or patent anything. You know, these are just ideas I put out, and it's for everybody to use. I really love all of you that help me and support this channel and help me out, and there's some of you that just get stuff just to help support the channel, and you're really not even gonna like do it yourself, but you just like to support the idea in that, and that's a wonderful thing. So, you know, when I have people doing that, I can't get mad about somebody else, you know, trying to do the same thing too, and they might need it more than me. You know, who knows? So let's all just try to help each other. So if you want to, I'm going to make these molds available in that too, so y'all get however many you want. And you know, might want to get one and just play around with it. Get a small thing of resin and play around with some. And if you're a resin artist, if you've already done this and you want to make some, you know, like I said, make some cool looking ones, put some things in there, make it your own, and put them up on Etsy, and I'll point people in that direction. So I think that'd be cool. So this is a cool step which way we're going. The downspouts are awesome. If you guys, you know, I love the downspout because they're durable. Use them over and over. If it wasn't for all the waste that I make, you know, like I said, this is like the way to go. I'm still going to use mine. I'm not getting rid. I've got all kind of kale and basil and bok choy and everything growing out there. If I got rid of it, Keely would freak out, right? So I'm still going to have that, but I'm going to experiment with like different things moving forward. Bamboo and jute, got beeswax and just all kind of ideas. So when I was talking to you guys about the plastic in that other video, I didn't get to respond to everybody. I could have been there for days just talking with everyone. It's wonderful conversations, but I did read them all, and I take it into consideration. So we know plastic's basically a necessary evil. You know, it's around everywhere. It's easy to use. It's affordable. It's easy to work with. So if we take something like a milk jug or a ramen container, something that would be like a single-use thing, and then it gets recycled, or worse yet, in the landfill, and we take it and we use it over and over and over again to grow things, that's a fantastic thing. So we're not saying that plastic's evil. We're just trying to find some different ways so that we can include everyone, because everyone needs to eat, right? You know, it's not like everyone needs a certain type of car or a certain type of sneaker, or you know, your clothing, or we need, you know, everybody needs to eat. So I don't want to like exclude certain people just because this is the boat we're on and this is all we're doing, and that some people want to learn a little different way, or something that's a little easier. Maybe they had a tough time with traditional gardening, and I just don't want to like shut anybody out. So we're going to try and include them, and I just think it's a cool experiment. I love being closer to nature. I used to always be like a hippie and everything, and like I said, using so much plastic right now is a little bit soul crushing to me. So I kind of want to figure out how I can reduce my footprint a little, you know, not totally, but learn to grow in a different way, and who knows, along the way we might figure something out that's just like totally cool, right? So and if I do it, I want all of y'all to be part of it too. That's why, you know, if we get our minds put together, instead of me, just one person trying to think of something and experimenting and then being like, you know, look what I found out. You know, it'd be a whole lot easier if there was like thousands of us putting our brains together and coming up with different ideas and suggestions. And like I said, they're all not going to work, you know, but so let's not be afraid of messing up and failing and people calling us stupid. But along the way, we might figure out something cool. And that along that point, someone out there, I forgot who you are, so if this was you, make sure you comment below to let people know that you gave me this idea. But somebody made a comment, and we were talking about algae. You know, I just teased people when I first started experimenting with this, and I said, you know, we're crazy. We made a see-through end cap, and of course, you know, the first thing people are going to say is, you're going to get algae, right? So everybody talks about all the different ways, like if you grow in a glass jar, you know, we can paint it. We paint it black, paint it white, wrap it with something. Someone even put it in a sock, you know, whatever works, you know, block out the light. But the main thing we all just reserve ourselves to is that you got to block out the light. And so it's just making it as dark as possible. And one of you out there commented and just said something like, what if the water was just black? What if the water was dark, like with food coloring? And I said, I don't know. I've never thought of that. And I've got like a bunch of plants going, like I said, you know, these downspouts. I don't grow just in the spring and fall. I always have them consistently going. We harvest, clean it out, put some more in. I'm always putting new crops in, and I said, I'll give it a try, right? I don't know if you gave it a try too, whoever gave me that idea, but we put black food coloring in. Took one of these downspouts, you know, put these on both ends, and it was actually the one with the steampunk with the little gears and the keys and that on it. And we grew some kale. And I have one next to it, and it actually grew better than the other one. Now I put a clear one up as an experiment. That was kind of cool too, you know, but you have to block the light, so we put aluminum foil over it, right? And then we could take it off and look at it. So no algae grew in that. But the one that had the black food coloring, I never covered it up. So I didn't have a camera on it 24 hours a day, you know, but I just want you guys to take my word for it that that one did not get covered up. It was left open the way it was through that whole growth. So all of that kale that you see, the baby kale that's up there right now, that we can actually go and harvest. And if the white flies don't get to it, they're terrible right now, it could actually grow a little bigger. But at least we know that it got to that stage with the black food coloring in there, so you're not gonna have white roots, right? The roots were black. Well, you know, that looked kind of, well, a little funky. I thought it looked kind of neat, but some people might, you know, not look at the black roots the same way that I did. But it looked kind of cool. But it grew with like that, and I didn't cover the end, so light got in. And when I walked up, I could see where the water level was without pulling out a plan or peeking inside or doing anything like we used to do. And I never had it covered up, so I could just walk up. I had a little thermometer, you know, on it. So, you know, it's kind of like a novelty thing. I was putting them in and testing it, but basically, you know how hot it is outside. If it's 95 degrees, your stuff's going to be 95, about 95 in there, right? But I could see the water level. I knew when to add a little and top it off, and then if it got, you know, I might add a couple more drops of food coloring in there, but I just used regular plain old food coloring and put it in there, and we grew the kale. So like I said, that just blew my mind. There might be algae in there. I don't know, it's black, I can't tell, right? So the only way I would know for sure is to take a sample of it and put it under a microscope and have some company kind of tell. We'll go ahead and harvest that kale out of there maybe in a day or two. Like I said, we got white flies like starting to appear and everything. So if they get too bad, we'll harvest that kale, and I'll dump that water into maybe a white container where we can see it like thin, and we'll see what's going on with the water itself. But right now, whatever it looks like inside, the end product is that we grew something with light coming in. It was never covered up with a clear end cap. We grew something like that. It's because we had the water was dark. So who knows, that might be like a different direction that we take, that we're so intent on blocking light, you know, like getting all of our containers and wrapping them and painting them and everything. And what if it's as simple as taking your water and making your water dark? Who knows, right? So that would be another option. Maybe, you know, people, that might be easier than buying a bunch of stuff to wrap, is to buy a little thing of food coloring and add food coloring to your water. So one time is just a fluke. That was my first time. So I want to show you all that, and I'm going to do it over and over. Like I said, I'm continuously growing. And if I can make it happen again and again and again, then I come back and tell y'all. If it doesn't, then I'll say, well, that was the fluke. I wish it would work, but it's not panning out. So we're going to experiment several times, and that's where you guys come along too, because I can only grow and do so much. If any of you want to get in on experiments like that, and you don't have to do the black food coloring thing. I mean, you might want to get in there and color it green, or you might want to just cover up the ends like I did. But whatever you want to do, I want you guys to go ahead and get some of these. Like I said, they're not perfect. These are all the happy little mistakes, but they do still fit into the downspouts, so they're not that difficult. Just a little bit of silicone and you'll be all set, right? So these still fit in here, and I want to give those to some people. So I'm going to put my email up. It's keepongrowing1@gmail.com, and make sure you know there's no G at the end of growing. It's a 1. That's all they had years ago when I got the email. So some people try to email me and they put keep on growing with a G, and they're like, I never got their email. So make sure you get it right. And I'll put a link with this email down in the description too. And let me know if you want a couple, or if you just say I'll take however many you will give me or whatever. But if you want a few, and tell me that you're gonna make a downspout, it can be like this, 18 inches, or it can be up to 10 feet if you want. Right, that you can make a downspout, you're going to try and grow some food, and that you'll share the results, good or bad, with me, so that I can share it with the community. All right, and that's all you have to do. And I'll just go in order and start looking. It's not going to be a random drawing or anything. I want to find the people who sincerely want to go ahead and give this a try and want to experiment with things. And I'm going to keep giving these away until I'm just done with this box. And if I make any more mistakes along the way, I'll just keep giving them out, okay? So I think that'd be cool. You guys let me, like I said, I have the email down here. Just let me know, and instead of these going to the landfill because they're imperfect, these will go into your hands where you can take it and maybe figure out something that will help thousands of people out there, right? So I'm really loving this. I hope you guys understand the reason why. I love these end caps. Like I said, these are in there right now. These are going to be going bye-bye, so if you want them, get them now. I'm going to stop making that because, like I said, this makes so much waste, whereas this, I'm having zero waste, and I can have back my shop so it doesn't look like snow during the middle of June and July. I can go ahead and sweep up and get rid of all of these little plastic shavings and get a clean environment where I can start making things like this, have less waste, and it'd be better for the environment. So you guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down there below. Let me know if this is something that's kind of sounds like fun, the direction that we're heading. If you want to be part of it, don't forget, email me if you want to give some of these a try, and check out the Etsy shop if you want to go ahead and order yourself a set of these. If I were you, I would get the black ones. These will block out the light. You can also take them and spray them with the Flex Seal. If you guys have seen that, I'll put a little video as soon as I'm done talking. I'll put a little video of how to do this with the silicone and the Flex Seal. So I'll put that as the credits are rolling. I'll be playing that. I think that's the best way to go with the black ones. The whites, if you don't want the Flex Seal and you just want the look, so it just looks like that, nice clean look. And the clear is going to be for the people who want to do like the experiment, like these people are experimenting. If you don't, get any, or if I run out of these and you want to order any, I have the clear ones for sale too. Like I said, it's not going to be perfectly like glass, but they're pretty darn clear. And these will be the ones where you can see inside if you want to cover them with foil. That way you can open it up and you can see what's going on inside your cracky container. You can cover it up. And I think that'd be cool, like for kids, are growing, they can't see roots growing down in the soil, but they can, open this up and see the roots growing in a hydroponic system, and kind of get them interested in learning in that too. So don't forget, we'll have these molds in our Etsy shop so that you can make your very own resin end caps for yourself, build you out an entire garden with just this, or get a couple of these and be creative, make some fancy ones, and we'll go ahead and put those. You open you up a little Etsy shop like I got, and we'll start helping you sell those too. So all kinds of exciting stuff coming up. thank you guys. Keep doing like you're doing. Like I said, we're trying to teach the entire world how to feed itself, and that comes down to you guys, and you're doing an awesome job. I get compliments and letters and thank yous from people all over the world, just about every day, and that just warms my heart. So keep doing like you're doing. Live to inspire. Keep on growing. Be the change. Catch you next time.
Ba ba da ba 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 ba.